Hey everyone, it's Todd Gross. Very happy Todd Gross this evening. In the past, we've called these things parties, launch parties, webinar parties, training parties, and sometimes it was pushing it a little bit to call it a party. But tonight, if this isn't a party, I don't know what else is because you're going to have so much fun with Synthesys Visual in just a moment. It is a blast. All right, so this is the Synthesys Visual text to images straight from your imagination webinar and training. We're going to train you a lot, not only about AI tonight, but let's take a look at our agenda as a matter of fact. I just have to get this thing to work. There we go. We're going to show you amazing artificial intelligence. It's finally true artificial intelligence. Sometimes that term gets bandied about a little bit too frequently. That can generate images literally from your own brain. Now, there's a lot of help from the machine learning in there. And what you don't tell it, it's going to fill in for you to a large degree. So it's a lot from your brain, but the more specific you get, the more you're helping the AI. Now, I'm going to explain the monumental text to image advances that went on this summer, that are going on right now. I'm going to show you three specific tricks to achieving the best results with our system that does the AI, because there's actually three things that are really important to know in order to get it right. I'm going to show you how to avoid high costs that other services are charging. And I'm going to explain how to not only use, because this is way too much fun to use, it's addictive, but how to sell your images or how to make money from your images. And we're going to take a really hard look at that. I have a lot of examples. And this is one of the few times where there's something that really ticks all the boxes. Not only is it fun to use, not only is it right in our particular niche, which is the image generation and video niche, but it also really is something that's easy to make money with, as you'll see. That's not wasn't my intention to really focus in on that, but it was just so obvious, and it'll be very obvious to you. You'll probably come up with 16 billion more ideas, but I'm going to go into that with you. We are going to demonstrate. I just recorded it. I actually just recorded just moments ago a 14 and a half minute demonstration inside our Synthesys visual generator itself. It's a good demo. I did cover almost all the features that are in there, if not all of them. And then we're going to demonstrate the image editor and face swap integration, which is also part of Synthesys Visual Generator, but it's a different section, you'll see. We'll explain how to craft text prompts. This is very, very important. Text prompts are what is going to eventually produce the image. Some of you know that, some of you don't. And by the end of this webinar, the whole concept of text prompts will be second nature to you, okay? This is a very, very much an instructional webinar among everything else. And you have to craft them properly for the best results. You'll get a result one way or another that's pretty interesting and usually good. But if you really want it to look the best it can, you have to craft those text prompts well. And we'll show you how we aid you in that. Then in my email, I said we're going to do 200 charter members on this, where we actually invite some of you into an unlimited version of our product. Charter members, the first ever to use it. It's really very thoroughly tested, but there's a little bit of a beta aspect to it because we're going to be improving it a lot more in coming months, and you'll be part of that. And all the charter members will get those improvements for free. We're going to have a webinar special. It was supposed to be 200, but you beat our doors down so much already that we know it has to be 300, or you're going to walk away unhappy in this webinar because there's so many people on right now. And we also have that unlimited offer that will unlock the door to affordable usage, since there's solutions out there that really end up running up. And that's not what this is about. This is going to be affordable, unlimited usage. And that's only part of it because we have lots of demonstrations and a lot of info coming at you right now. Now, there is some early excitement out there. We got a lot of comments, but I was so busy putting this slideshow together for you and doing the demonstration. I only got one of them in there, and that's from Delphine Hicks. She says, I'm so excited. We're just hours away now from what might be considered the biggest launch of the year and possibly the decade in internet marketing. I got a kick out of that. So that means that we're even bigger than the iPhone. Swallow that for a minute. No, I know we're not. Direct unsolicited quote, though, from Delphine. But yet it's not a launch, Delphine. Let me explain. We have a limited opening later in this webinar for 300 charter members only. We're going to do right now a webinar. The 300 spots may go during the webinar. And then afterwards, the people on the replay would be getting on the wait list. Or we may fall just a little short of the 300, and then the people who listen to the replay will fill the first few spots, and then the rest of the spots will go on a wait list. So I just wanted to make that clear. This is for charter members only. This is not with other JV partners. There's nobody else that is releasing this in the next week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, maybe down the road, but not now. This is just something we're keeping in-house for you. And we're having a contest, more than one, but I already know the answer. I already thought of the answer to one of the trivia questions we're going to have. If you were on early and you stay through to the end of the webinar, believe me, it's so much fun that you're going to want to stay through. It's not going to be hard at all. We're going to arrest your attention, and we will have $25 PayPal reimbursements to those who win the trivia question. I'll pick at random from the right responses. I'll try to make them hard enough that we don't have to do too much selecting. So you'll have to really pay attention to what I'm saying. And then you will be eligible to win a $25 PayPal reimbursement. We'll be handing out a few of those later on. And finally, what if you can create captivating images for blog posts, ebooks, videos, podcast episodes, unique and compelling images for websites, landing pages, advertising creatives that are eye-catching and stand out, conceptual. Oh, I'm going to have a lot of fun tonight, I'm telling you right now. Conceptual mock-ups for branding and campaigns. How does that sound for starters? If you could have all of that without having to go to stock images and looking for something specific and looking, then ending up getting an ad from one of the iStock or somewhere else, and they say, well, that's where my image might be, and then you go there and you're looking and you're looking. Give me a 1 in a chat box if it would be great if you could just conjure up the image rather than look all over the place for the specific kind of image that you are looking for. Menu road. Sai says 1. No, you didn't win yet. Not yet. And oh, I get it. 1. O-N-E. Yeah, that's a 1 in the chat box. You're right. You're too quick for me. Okay. Yeah, it would be great. And this is why I got so excited this year when I started to discover that this was coming to pass, that there were these, AI generators that were starting to come out, that were just maturing and being able to produce decent, in fact, fabulous results at times. I'll explain that as we go along. So it saves time and money. You don't have to spend hours looking for the perfect image. We mentioned that. You don't have to spend money hiring an illustrator to produce a specific kind of image. You don't have to spend time creating visuals and thumbnails for videos. You don't have to spend time on this is important, conceptualizing logos and brand collateral. You don't have to spend time searching for assets for blogs, websites, ads, etc. But more important, you don't have to worry about the copyrights, the royalties, and this is where it's getting into brand new territory, and banned accounts, right? Because there's so many, searches going on out there looking for stolen stuff that your accounts could get banned even on YouTube for an image. Well, speaking of branding, I figured I'd put it to the test. Meet SV. Now, I wanted to come up with something like figment of the imagination. Do you know what figment is from? Just tell me if you know in the chat box if you know who figment is. Because this to me is like straight from your imagination, and it's a figment. Yes, from Disney. Larry says Epcot. Yeah. So Figment was a character that represented the imagination in Disney and Disney World. And in fact, Figment's coming back after retiring for a little bit. Well, I wanted to come up with something similar. And you'll see a creation that I did later on in this presentation that's kind of figmenty, but I just decided before I even knew too much about the right way to phrase what's called prompts, text prompts, to get it to print out correctly. And we'll go in the engine later and you'll see what I mean. But this is what I wrote. I wrote a smiling, smart looking robot with glasses and no background. And I got 4 results. Of the 4 results, I think I didn't like any of them, so I tried again. I got 4 more results, and this was like the third of the fourth. I liked this one. I kept it. I tried again and I tried again, and I didn't like them as much, but I had saved it, and you'll see how to do that in a moment. So meet SV. SV's the guy with the ideas. He represents your imagination, and it represents how you can actually come up with a branding, a logo from your imagination that's unique to you. And it's not just a brand, it's an image of all different kinds, from artwork to photorealistic images of people, animals, scenery, everything. But let's just say that I wanted to see if I could do a branding with a character and get like a logo going. And I came up with this right away. I mean, this literally took me just minutes to do, which I was very excited about. So we'll go into this much more later, but here's just some examples of the type of things that we've been working on, my team and I, over the course of the past several weeks since this matured. Now, Paul Akande of our team is the guy that really delved into it, and he made that image on the right there where it says a space explorer meeting an alien family on a red hot planet. He was so proud of his imagination that he kept going more and more and more into it, while I was the guy who did the practical stuff. Like I wrote a black Jeep Wrangler on a beach riding into a lake, and that's what I got. I mean, and that looks just like my Jeep. I mean, really looks like my Jeep. Now, I could have written 1986 Jeep Wrangler and it would have recognized it and done that. Just like you could tell the age of a person, it can tell the age, model, color, make of a car. And I've tried it. I have a Plymouth Fury I could show you later if I dig into my files that I got out for. I wrote bear standing on Plymouth Fury. But I'm getting a little ahead of myself. So let's take a breather for a moment and just take all this in and say, well, how did this happen? We know voiceovers are going crazy, right? They're becoming just like the real thing. We know with the other synthesis products where we delve into AI that we have humatars, those are human like avatars that are based on real people and their lips actually move. Well, how did AI start? What is it really? So let's talk about that because it will lead into the whole thing. And I'm not going to bore you. It's just too exciting, this stuff. What is AI? It's the theory and development of computer systems able to perform tasks that normally require human intelligence, such as visual perception, speech recognition, decision making, and translation. Or more simply, the way I wanted to put it was a robot without a body. I've been doing robots since I was a little kid, and I'm pretty old, right? And I've known about robots all along. It was in our imaginations. It goes all the way back to the 1800s, in fact. But what we didn't think about, we just sort of thought about it, was the robot without the body, like Hal in the movie 2001: A Space Odyssey. That was where the computer had intelligence and took over the ship, right? That's kind of what we're talking about. Thinks like a human. There's been so many sci-fi movies based on this. And it can be more intelligent and have more background data in there and skills to work with. So the problem is, of course, eventually it's going to replace a lot of our jobs. But as with all things, we adapt to that. We end up helping to implement that and finding our roles in the new place in society. Our synthesis audio, human voices has to do with the speech recognition part. Our synthesis, human synthesis studio, our humitars has to do with the visual perception part, as does our face swap. But what is AI art and AI text to image? Well, that creates scenes as an artist or photographer would, but with enormous talent, finesse, and background information beyond what man can recall. So when it comes to the artistic part, you'll see an amazing example in the demo that I literally did just 45 minutes ago when I got a Claude Monet painting up. Here's an example from Paul Conde. He's on our team. He's fallen in love with the software, and he created this. He created it with our software, and it is an absolute masterpiece. But if you don't believe me, let me show you what somebody did with another system with AI art early this month on September 6th, I believe it was. Let me see if I can find it. Did we erase? No, don't tell me we erased that. I have to show that to you. All right, team members. That's an important one. Yeah, here it is. I see it. Slide 15. There it is. This was created by somebody using AI on a very similar system to ours. They won. They won. They submitted as a human being and won first place in the Fine Arts Colorado State Fair in Pueblo. It's going to be one of those nights. Pueblo, Colorado. I believe that's Southwest Colorado. This became so controversial just this month because remember, I said over the summer is when AI really grew up when it came to text to image. This became so controversial because it produced a painting that was, you know, placed in as original to the human, but as one person called it, it was sort of like sitting in a car and in a marathon and going straight to the finish line in the car. I think he used a Maserati as an example. I mean, this person was submitting something that was produced by artificial intelligence, but the art community liked it the best. And that's the kind of thing that we're dealing with. So that's where text to image is going right now. And that's the one that Paul Akandi created. And text to image itself is the idea of writing what you are thinking in enough detail with prompts to produce amazing images of all genres, including photorealistic images that are 100% unique to you. Yeah, Bob. I just happened to see you write NFT question mark. You bet we'll be talking about that because I just said unique to you. And he got it right away where my brain was when I realized each image is unique. Introducing Synthesys Visual. That's our system that produces these. This is at the head of the pack with a couple of the other ones that are too expensive or too beta that you can't really get involved with. It's our fantasy category, and is an example here where there's an epic battle scene between two mythical dragon creatures in open space of blue mountains. That's an example of a prompt. You see how that works? We'll show you how to categorize those in a minute too. Now, in the emails I've been sending out, you've been seeing some of the images, but you'll see a lot more tonight, such as our Picasso on the left there. But get used to this. As I show you this stuff, I want you to get used to those prompts because they're so vital to the production of the images. Not only are they vital, they actually have real value, monetary value, which I was stunned to find out about 14 days ago. See how it says photorealistic portrait of a cute Latino girl, 11 years old, with a round shaped head and flower headband, studio lighting, side view. That's a prompt. Very detailed, produced that beautiful photographic like image. And those are what drive this. But what makes Synthesys Visual different than other systems that are starting to come out? Well, first of all, this whole night, what we're going to be talking about is the whole idea of an unlimited version of this. No credits, that's right. No time limit. You'll be able to create unlimited visual generations. There will be a little bit of a but on that, but not much, and I'll talk about that. So that makes this different to begin with. There's no credits and no time limits. And how we can do that, I'll explain later, and they'll answer that in the chat box too, if you're saying, well, you can't do that. We also have optimized image generation version here, not found elsewhere. All future updates are included as well. So as the technology continues to mature and get even better, because it's doing so fast, earlier in the year, this wasn't possible. In fact, I don't want to say anything bad, so I'm not going to mention any names of products, but a product came out in the last few days which said text to image, and we said, uh-oh, they have text to image, oh my goodness. And we looked in there, and they were using an old generation from early in the year, and it was totally unusable, to be quite honest. It was just unusable. It just produced, mush that kind of looked like what you were putting in. We also have face swap integration to create even more images, which I show you right in my demo. So if you happen to have face swap, it's a great add-on because it automatically throws the image that you create right into face swap. And then from there, you automatically get put into face swap, and then you could swap out the images of the face and change them even further to really hone in on it. So that's, again, what makes us different. But the optimized image generation that you'll see in my demo, and I'll explain more about. We also have face enhancement for human portraits. So we take one face and make it even clearer than the AI does in the first place, because we already have a different AI previously from face swap that did that. So we're able to merge it. You don't even have to own face swap to get, that additional face enhancement that we're going to be adding for you. Then, of course, we include a commercial license so that you'll be able to sell these. You could sell these photos. You could create as many as you want, and then in your brain, think up what category, what niche you want to serve, and then sell them. But in terms of how to make money with them, there's so much that I have a whole section of this webinar dedicated to that later. I think it's right after my demo. Then we have the image upscale feature for ultra high def images, 4K resolution. We doubled it at the last minute from 2000 to 4000 by 4000 pixels. That's on the square image. Obviously, the horizontal is slightly different, the vertical is slightly different, but it's 4K. So what you do is you create images reasonably sized quickly, and then you decide which is the one that you want the 4K when you get all the ones popping out at you. Yeah, 4K images like this one. This was actually an image I made by mistake. You'll see that in the demo. I slipped and left out one term, and this beautiful image came out, and I said, that's really a nice photographic type image with studio background. So why don't I make that into a 4K image, and save it and show it during the webinar. And there you go. You could see the high definition on the hair. Oh, it's a time for my demo. That's exciting. You guys ready for a demo? You have questions first. Yeah, I know. It's not going to be a terribly long webinar. I told you it's going to really move. All right. Yeah, you're saying demo. I'm going to go right into the system now, and then we'll talk about how you can monetize all this and do so much more. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my demo, if I could get it onto my screen here. I'm going to have to exit. Hopefully I'll remember how to get back in later. So you can see that I'm exiting my slideshow, and I'm sliding the demo right in. Now, I literally finished this demo at about 6:30 Eastern time, so just moments ago. It is a fresh demo. I just made it. It covers a lot, but it's not boring. I'm going to put the microphone near the speaker so that it's clear, and I'm going to play it. Okay, here we go. Hey everyone, it's Todd Gross, and welcome. I'm about to demonstrate to you what has to be the most fun piece of software you've ever used in terms of video or images. It's addictive to the nth degree. So that's why unlimited is definitely something that's very important. We know that. Here we are inside Synthesys Visual right now. And the way I got here is just through the upper menu when I logged in. I'm in the admin account, so some of my other Synthesys products are in there, but in this case, what you're looking for is Synthesys Visual. You click on that, you just go down to Imagine, and then you start from there. Now, the very first thing you see on the left is your category. So you could pick photo, painting, fantasy, anime, sci-fi, etc. We have a whole bunch of categories for you. And then you're going to pick a description. Now, to make things easier, I am going to explain in the webinar that I'm holding at the same time that I'm doing this demo. I'm going to explain this in more detail, but you could either just start typing in yourself various things such as the object name, what you're imitating, the mood and the modifiers, or you could use our magic wand to make things even simpler, and then you just pick the item that you want. For instance, we could do woman, and we're imitating the style of Claude Monet, the mood. We actually produced one, and I want to kind of match it. And I'm trying to remember what the mood was. I think she was like angry. I remember. And the modifiers in this case, it was like dramatic lighting. So you could do whatever you want. All right. In terms of the categories, you don't have to necessarily just pick what we kind of spoon fed there. You could manually put in what you want and then continue to add things from there, such as studio background and other objects that are going to be in the background. So you could, if you want to enhance the face, you click on this right there. That enhances human faces to make them look clearer. Then you pick out your resolutions, square or horizontal or vertical, and you could upscale those to 4K later. And then if you want, you can actually upload a photo right here with this, and you could upload a photo or even draw a sketch to kind of make the photo, or should I say the image that pops out, look more like what you want. It will just change it and will make it more like, for instance, you could have a cat with certain markings, and then that cat will follow into what you're producing rather than having to describe every little thing on the cat. And then all you do from there is you click visualize, and then 30 to 60 seconds later, boom, out pops the image, and it gives you 4 choices. And then if you don't like them, we encourage you to try again and download them as you go along so that the choices get better and better. And that's why we've done unlimited, so that you could just keep going and going until you get what you want. Because very often you get it on the first couple of rounds, but sometimes you may want to change the qualifiers just a little bit. If you're on something like a credit-based or time-based system and not unlimited, that means you're going to burn through that time or those credits really quickly, and we don't want you to do that. Wow, my mom's a painter and she would be very impressed with this. I know that she particularly likes this artist because of the paintings that we had around my apartment when I was growing up as a kid. So what we've put in is what's called a prompt. And as I said, you could get more and more elaborate. You could say looking to the side or looking face forward or studio lighting if you're doing a photorealistic shot. You could just keep going, and you know, I'll be showing that during the webinar that's attached to this particular demo, and you could really get very detailed. But as you can see, we had some good results from that alone. Once that takes place, then what you do is you decide which you're going to save. So I particularly like this one, and I like this one. So I'm going to click on it. Then you have the option to download it, to upscale it to 4K, or to save to the gallery. So I'm going to download it, save it to the gallery, and then it gives you the prompt at the bottom that we chose. Woman in the style of Claude Monet, angry, dramatic lighting. And the same thing on this one. I'm going to download it and save it to the gallery. Okay, so now we've actually got a piece of art. The next thing we can do is we could go back to our Synthesys Visual menu, and we could choose edit image. And this is an interesting beta feature right now. Basically, you browse for any image you want. It could be what we have just done just now, or I'll take a, let me take one I created earlier. I created a cat earlier. So what I could do is I can, so you start with the right-hand side here, which is restore. So we're going to, in other words, we're going to restore this cat to one that has no head, and that we actually are going to replace that head. Okay, in this case then, once we've done that, that's what we're replacing from our image. This is an image I created earlier, by the way, with the software. What we want to do is replace the head with a face of a dog and submit. Now, I could have gotten more detailed and got a different kind of dog, but I think I'll save that to the gallery and I'll download that. And now if I wanted to upscale that, I would just click on upscale. And what it does is it creates a 4K image and it maintains the resolution, makes it even better. And it's just wild that we can have these huge images created by the system. But basically what you're looking at first are images you could use, or you can consider them previews to what you'll get in the end after you find the one that's right for you. Okay, not only did it upscale it, but it downloaded it. So I'm all set with that now. Another one that I chose earlier, and I did this straight from my imagination, is I wanted a photograph of Daenerys from Game of Thrones feeding her dragon. Then later on, I decided that I should make that into a fantasy because it's more of a fantasy type thing to begin with, even though she really was on Game of Thrones as a real person. In that case, I just changed that to fantasy, and notice I didn't do any of the other qualifiers here. I just wrote that in, and let's see what we come up with. The point here, partially, is that I'd like you to know you can pick characters from television, movies, and like, for instance, I did Brad Pitt, and Brad Pitt came out as Brad Pitt. And it's royalty free. They can't touch you. So you can actually have these real images of people. Now, I'm sure there's some legality. If you have a famous actor doing something illegal and then you show it, I mean, there's got to be some problem with that, right? All right, in this case, one of the images, here it is, all very good, all straight from the series. I said feeding her dragon. In this case, she looks like she's feeding her dragon. And it's a great cartoon rendition, basically, of Game of Thrones. I mean, you can't really get any better than that. I mean, it looks like her, but yet it's a fantasy cartoon. It's an illustration. And I'm really pleased with these results that just came out. I think I'm going to save some. Why don't I save this one? I could just save it from here, as a matter of fact, and download it. Save this one and download it. Now you could download them all as one zip file if you want, and then unzip it afterwards. What I just now, I don't know if you saw that. On the bottom right, you see what I did there? I clicked upload image. So I've taken this image now, okay, of Daenerys Targaryen, and I've put her into our little cheat place here so that the images that come out now will more look like this than they did before. We're starting to focus. So if I clicked visualize again, it would come out looking more like this one of the four. It would be less of a wide range. And that comes in very, very handy. Like that cat I showed you, I mentioned, I can match the markings of that cat by uploading any image at all that I grab from the internet, even like Pixabay, and I could put it right in there and it will match the markings. So that feature I wanted to point out as well. Now, the next menu item that we haven't looked at yet is looking at the saved images, right? So we could look at those, and they're all in there. Now, what I really like about the saved images is that you can check your work and see how you're coming and where you'd like to go. For instance, this Picasso right here, it was cat in the style of Pablo Picasso, angry dramatic lighting. Okay, and that's a reminder of how I got to that cat. Those are called prompts
We're working on a reverse lookup, so to speak, where we're going to allow you to bring an image in, and then it will give you what prompt would have approximated that image. And that will actually allow you to make more images of the same, or actually even sell those prompts to help other people get their images when they go into AI platforms like this, or especially ours. And you will be able to help them recreate your results if you sell them the prompt itself. So not only are we creating images from prompts, we're going to reverse engineer that and do the opposite. Now, as we scroll down, you can see certain things. For instance, right here, cat image with a studio background. That was me just sketching out something. I had like a stick figure, and it just improved it 1,000,000%. And it came out like that. Down here, we have the Latino girls that we were trying to recreate to see how consistent it was. It was consistent in that it was able to create very similar things. And then when I forgot the word Latino, this gal popped up right here with the headband. So you can see the difference. This is the Latino girl on the right. Let me get the mouse out of the way. And the Caucasian girl on the left. See, it says photorealistic portrait, cute girl, round shaped head, flower headband, studio lighting, side view. That's exactly the same as this one right here, except in this case, I left out the word Latino actually by mistake, and that's what popped out. So I hope this has been very helpful for you, so you could see how you can not only see your stored images, but see how you derive them. Now, the difference between history and saved images is it goes over the ones that you may not have liked. For instance, I can see that other people are in the system now while I'm using it. It's probably Paul, and he's doing a black cat. Let's see what he's writing. Black cat looking through a building window on a rainy day, dramatic moonlight, photorealistic is what he wrote. And he didn't save those yet. He's obviously working on it right now. One that I created that did not come out good is here. It's right here. I wrote face of a dog. It took me 2 tries to get the dog onto the cat. You saw me do it earlier. I didn't show you the one that didn't look good. That happens a lot. There are times when it does something that you don't want it to do. I did not say face forward, so it was a side facing dog, and it came out wrong. And therefore, it's something that I did not save. And having the unlimited ability is going to, of course, make it so much better because you don't have to worry if something comes out wrong. The other thing you could do if something does come out wrong is you could just erase that portion and try again. And finally, I want to show you the face swap integration. For those of you that have face swap, this integrates directly. You go to your saved images. Once you pick an image, you then choose face swap. And for those of you familiar with face swap, you could see that boom, it's all set up for you. You didn't even have to do anything. It's just, it fed it right in there just when you pick another image. So this was actually created. This was actually created to begin with by our artificial intelligence in Synthesys Visual. And then it fed right into face swap. And now you could change the faces more. Now you can change them more to fit what you want them to look like. You can change the ethnicity, the age, etc., just like you can in face swap. By the way, moments ago when I did that, you'll see you could also not only upscale the image, but you could change the background of the image as well.
All right. What do you think, guys? Ladies and gentlemen, what do you think? Can't believe what I see and hear. I'm already in love, says Minmo. That's insane. Can size be manipulated? There's a lot of. All right, I'm not going to make the joke. I'm not going to make the joke that you guys thought I was going to make just there. Impressive, looks fantastic, amazing, awesome, powerful, amazing. Yeah, we're not going to make you wait forever to get this, but there's important training that I have to do. It'll be brief, and there's important ways to make money with this. I'll be brief, and it's really important that we go through it. You really need to understand the pitfalls and how to make this work correctly. So I'm going to take the demo off. I'll show the demo again late in the presentation. That's why I recorded it, so I'd be able to do that. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to get my slideshow running again. And how do I get it to start from not the beginning? I don't know. I'll just scroll through. And then we're going to take it from here. Now, this is very important stuff that's coming up, and I'm sure you're starting to have questions. But this is the part I really want you to pay attention to the next few minutes. Here's some more examples of what Paul helped us to create, on my team. I created some of these. He created most of these. You could see just, a great number of examples here of what he's been churning out. And he does it regularly. You saw he was working on it while I was in the system doing the demo as well. What can you achieve and create using Synthesys Visual? Well, you could do animals, photorealistic stuff, or you could produce artwork that would work in ads. You could use the images in your videos, right? Let's talk about all the ways that you could use these things. How did you discover me in the first place? Probably a video-oriented type product. But it's also endless content for blogs, articles, you name it, right? It's content. It's content that you don't have to pay anything additional for. It's just there, but it's targeted content, exactly what you want it to do. You could theoretically create stock image collections to sell. That's your own site, right? You don't have to necessarily just go on Fiverr and sell these creations as art or images, or let people know that you have a design service. You could actually create collections that are targeted to whatever niche you want. For instance, real estate niche, or, you know, you could do all kinds of different things for plumbers. I mean, whatever you pick, you could really nail it. You could really zoom in there into the niche. These are this is something, because this looks just like the type of photograph not only that I would take, but that I have on the wall behind me in this very room. I'm tempted to go grab it. I may grab it later in the webinar. I don't want to waste your time right now, but I may grab it so you could see just how similar that is to a photograph I actually took. People, wine and cheese, where you could explore your imagination. I'm not getting political here. I did both parties, but take a look. Trump figurines on the right. And you could really go wild with your imagination. Fantasy, like we've done. But one of the most unusual ways that you can make money from this, and I just discovered this, is there are now something called prompt marketplaces that are starting to hit. Remember what prompts are? Does everybody know? If you don't know what a prompt is, put a 2 in the chat box, and I'll go over that again. Put a 2 in the question answer box. Okay, so a prompt is the exact wording that you use to create the image when you're in there, when you're in the system. So we'll be going over how to word those prompts in a minute. But it turns out, and this is shocking, I don't know, sit down. All right, this requires water, or if you have some alcoholic beverage, because this really requires sitting and thinking for a second. This industry is so new, but already there is now a market for what you write to create the image. Never mind the images themselves. They sell for between $1.99 and $7 a piece. And we will be able to tell you where some of those marketplaces are. In fact, better than that, we're going to try to start one of those marketplaces. And so many of you realized what took me about 10 days ago to realize, that you could develop NFT collections with these. NFTs are those images, the artwork that is bound to the blockchain, so that each individual image is uniquely yours. And when you sell it, there's only one unique piece of art. Can't be copied because it's on the blockchain as individual to you. Then you can pass it to somebody else for a lot of money for some of these collections. Some of these collections have sold for millions of dollars. But what's interesting about this software is it produces unique images every time, even if they're similar. Unique images means that there's one step further that it's like an NFT. It's unique to you even more because you can't reproduce it. It's only each time it's your baby, it's your piece of art that you created with terminology. Here's an example of what strikes me as something that could be part of an NFT collection. Paula Conde produced the one on the left. I produced the one on the right. Now, remember, I said earlier in the webinar, the one on the right that you're looking at right there is the one that I was trying to make into the mascot, and I ended up making SV instead of that green dragon. I picked green because I'm the green screen guy, you know. So NFT is definitely possibility right there. And of course, you avoid royalties. You never pay for stock images again if you use these things. But there's really three strategies that I promised in the email that I would go over with you to unlock the most from your imagination and to make the images come out better. Because quite frankly, they don't always come out right. Remember, I said there's a couple of caveats here. And I'd be lying if I said they come out right every time. That's why the unlimited is so important. So let's go over those three strategies. I'm going to do that right now. First, I'm going to just look in the question answer box. Uh, Eugene, I have a friend that's into NFTs, and God, he's all over himself trying to get into this. Okay. One, remember, three strategies to get these things right. One, use a detailed prompt as you can to get the result you specifically want to your liking. Try using this formula when creating your prompts, or use the cheat sheet that we kind of gave you on the inside. You know, we kind of have that magic wand cheat. First of all, after you pick your category, pick a main image description, such as cat, person, young girl. It knows age. It knows age really well. 24-year-old looks like a 24-year-old to most people. 36, 36. It's really good with age. Image style or artist, image mood, image modifier, such as looking sideways, studio background, certain kind of lighting. That's the first thing. And we, of course, help you with that on the inside because we have that magic wand, which makes it go even faster so that you can put your own terminology in there without having to think quite as much. It's kind of like a little cheat sheet. You can even pick from the categories in there. And I'll show that again to you later when we run the demo again. And if you want me to, delve in there personally late in the webinar. But right now I want to talk about this important stuff, and then we'll let the 300 slots go. So an example of image style would be painting. The category is the same thing as the style. And you pick the category. We have the categories all listed out. You may remember that from the demo. Then the main image description would be such as woman talking on a phone. The image mood, smiling and laughing. The image modifier we're going to use right now is mid-afternoon lighting. And the image art reference is, again, we're going to do Claude Monet. Let's see how that comes out. Woman talking on the phone. That's funny. She's using a cell phone in the 1800s. Smiling and laughing. It's a painting. Mid-afternoon lighting, Claude Monet. There it is. Amazing. That was number one. The prompt, the detail, the organization, the extra detail. It still didn't always come out right for me. I said, well, I'm doing something wrong here. Paul's getting it right every time. So I used another exclusive feature of ours to make it even better. I just took an image off of Pixabay of what kind of cat I wanted. So the image on the left is off of Pixabay. I uploaded that into the software. The image on the right, I was able to get that result. It was modeled after the original cat. And because of the background being foliage in the original image, it made the mountains and the waves and the weather look even better than I had been getting results with on the image on the right, because I was shooting for a sort of beach, stormy, palm tree mountains in the background environment. I was looking for a Caribbean island, a hurricane kind of scene. And the reason I was able to achieve that when I wasn't able to achieve it before with my descriptions was because I simply uploaded an image to base it on and then got specific from there. So while the cat on the left, yeah, I was able to find an image of a cat, but I wasn't able to find the stormy Caribbean island until I wrote it. So that's tip number 2. Tip number 1, the detail of the prompts, the text that you put in. Tip number 2 is to upload an image to focus even more on what you're looking for. Tip number 3, oh boy. If at first you don't succeed, try again. You need to make use of the unlimited renderings that you have to you. Every time you press visualize, you will get 4 new results. 4. They may not be what you want. In fact, I've had cats with 3 tails show up. I didn't like the cats with 3 tails. We do have, as you'll hear, the ability to do in painting coming in just several days from now. We expect it Tuesday night. So you could get rid of things that you don't like and have the background come through. Or you could replace that object with something else, as you saw me do with the cat's head, right? But the results are not always 100%. You saw the dog head that was looking off to the side that looked wrong. I just didn't use it. But if you have unlimited, then you don't have to worry about that, because you will get good results as you continue to tinker with it. And it doesn't take that long, and you get good results. But you have to really hone in on these 3 things. It doesn't produce the best results each time. You've got to have somebody, in fact, to help you, and we have somebody to help you. So the problem that we have here, and yes, we're getting very close to opening up the 300. We're going to do that in less than 5 minutes. This is not the longest webinar in the world. I'm not going to bore you and put you through one of those. The trial and error burns through credits or time-based systems fast, making it untenable to use this commercially unless you have an unlimited resource at your fingertips. Now, as I said, there's a couple of small caveats on our unlimited brand of this, which I'll go over with you, but it's not much. It's not bad. You will have an unlimited resource here so that you can keep trying and playing, and you will be getting better and better. You'll hear about our Facebook group where you could share with others, and they'll help you get better and better. You'll hear about how Paul from our team is going to actually be a consultant, and he'll help you get better and better. So trial and error burns through credits and time-based systems like nothing. So beware, some of these others, they're like that right now, the ones that are out right now. The solution is the unlimited offer for a select group of people today, right now, in just seconds. To minimize the server load, we're going to have to keep it to 300 people. And we were going to do 200. We've been going back and forth all afternoon about this. But we've decided to make it 300 people. And the reason we're making it 300 people is because we knew that on this webinar there would be too many disappointed people, and we didn't want that. So our exclusive webinar offer for 300 lucky charter members means unlimited image generation, but it means more than that. Let's tell you everything that it includes from top to bottom. Okay, here we go. This is what you're going to get. Pay very, very close attention. And then right after I bring that link out, don't hesitate to grab it so you could be one of the 300 charter members. And don't worry about the contest. I'm doing that later, and we'll reimburse you after the fact to your PayPal, the $25 if you're a winner. So don't worry. Don't be distracted. Just go ahead, so that you don't, miss out. All right, here's the story. The very first thing that we're going to do is provide you with 5 hours per month on our fastest server, which generally has been taking 30 seconds to 1 minute per generation. So it's about 600 images on our fastest server. In order for this to work economically for us so that we don't go under and yet we get you into unlimited, we have unlimited image generations from there on our slightly slower server that takes roughly 60 to 90 seconds per generation. Now, I spoke to Oliver at length about this. I said, look, I don't even care if it's 4 or 5 minutes. I want to make sure this is really unlimited. He says, yeah, it really is unlimited, subject to fair use, which I'll go over in just a moment. He says, it's unlimited. I said, what if it takes 4 minutes? Is that too much? He says, well, it's not going to take 4 minutes. It's 90 seconds at worst. I said, I don't believe it. So I said, I'm going to tell everybody 2 minutes. So, all right, I'm going to tell you 2 minutes, okay? Unlimited image generations on our slightly slower server that Oliver says won't take more than 90 seconds. And I say 2 minutes just to be on the safe side. Subject to fair use. What do we mean by fair use? That means if you sit there all day, all night, and keep using it and try to do something weird with it, we will not cancel your account. We won't do that. We'll give you a little bit of warning. We'll say, hey, relax. Just relax a little bit. And if you don't relax a little bit, we're going to set up a queue system where those that are in the queue will be based on, those like you that are overusing the system will be based a little bit lower so that it'll take you several minutes for yours to render because you'll be in queue behind everyone else. We'll say relax, but that's only if you abuse the system. And even then, we're not going to kick you out. We're not like Vimeo. Vimeo is evil. They kicked me out and we hardly even touched. We even hardly touched their threshold. I mean, it was so slight. It was like 1% over. they kicked me right out. It's not like that. So it really is true unlimited image generations. But that's what you're getting. That's the first thing. But 5 hours per month on the fastest server. Now we do have on the inside an offer for I think it's 19 a month for you to upgrade so that you get 15 hours per month on our fastest server. Okay, I just want you to know if you think you will be using it and you want to get them really quickly out. So this includes the high quality mode that others charge credits for. We could have had a choice for you where we said you could have this quality, that quality, that quality. It's up to you. But instead, we decided that you all would want the high quality. So we have high quality mode included. It's built in. Secondly, we have the category choices, as you saw in the demo, to style your creation through a category such as fantasy. You saw me do the fantasy. There's anime. There's photo. All right. Third, we have the enhanced face mode. And that is something that's very interesting that Oliver implemented using the technology that we already had from the face swap launch that we did. All right. So we already were enhancing faces. So it makes the faces even clearer. And then we have the direct face swap integration. If you have face swap, you could use that. If you don't and you want face swap or want more information on face swap, if you ask in the chat box, Luann will get really excited and she'll answer you, I'm sure. And Luann will be on this webinar later because she wraps these webinars up really good with the questions and answers, and there'll be lots of those. So that's more of what it includes. It also includes a choice of horizontal, vertical, or square images. It also includes upscale to 4K images. I'll show you an example of that in just a moment. It also includes the upload image option where you could upload images from anywhere at all that you could get your hands on an image. You could even take a photo so that you get a certain item that you want to be modeled and then place it in a scene. So you upload images from anywhere to help craft your idea even more and make it come out better. Like you could take a picture of your child, upload it, and then you could have that be the base for what it does in terms of the background. May not look exactly like your child, again, when you run it, but it'll approximate him. You also have the prompt suggestion wand that was just put in there that I told you about a week ago. It helps create prompts with less scrutiny needed. You don't have to think quite as much when you do the prompts. It reminds you of the categories of the prompts of the text, and you'll see that again when I run the demo again later. So the prompt suggestion wand is in there. It helps you decide on the terminology to get the text right. Here's the example of those things. Remember the 4K images? Remember this? Remember the mistake I made that gave me that image? Think about that mistake I made that gave me that image, because I'm going to talk about that later. Then the upload feature. Remember how I used the upload feature? Upload images to give AI towards what you are looking for as the result. So remember, on the left, that's the image I found. On the right, that's the resulting image when I wanted it to be a hurricane kitty. Photo uploaded to the software on the left, and to visualize the correct result, it produced the right kind of cat on the right. And what am I talking about with the magic wand? That makes the prompts go easier. So in this case, we were able to create a Picasso cat in the style of Pablo Picasso. Angry, dramatic lighting. All that came from our magic wand. It helped us create that prompt, that text that made it come out so well. But it also includes our other features internal to our system. It allows us to edit the image, or allows you to edit the image, to erase and reinvent a portion of the image. Now, I said it's in beta mode because it didn't always turn out right, but it really is a little past beta mode. It came out, for me, came out pretty good if I got the prompts that I put in. For instance, in this one, we said put a person's face in, and facing forward, and it came out okay. We also have Facebook group membership as part of this, and help from our in-house expert, Paula Conde, who you saw all his images, and we'll show more of his images as well. But it doesn't end there. We also have the sketch tool. That's me. I did that on the left. That's as good as I could get a cat to look. Is that crazy? I couldn't get the cat to look any better than that. But look on the right. It redrew the cat for me after I put some words in, the prompts, and it knew what I was looking at. It knew what I was looking for, right? It approximated my original. All right. I see people say, I want my toy now. And let me see how many slides. We only have like 3 more slides. Hang in there. We're getting to it. Yes, sketch tool, sketch. You could do a stick figure and it'll approximate it. Here's another one. Person on the left had much more talent than I had in their sketch, but they still needed help. What if you're making a children's book? You make the sketch on the left for your children's book. You say, it's okay, but I could do better than that. And then on the right, boom, there you go. There's your book. Right? All of a sudden, it looks professional. So many ways this could be used. We have new features coming too. Yeah. Reverse lookup. You guys know about reverse lookup with phones? You know how you could look up who somebody is from knowing their phone number? We have reverse lookup where it's picture to prompt generator. It suggests the prompts that made the image that you created or that you upload in. In other words, you can find an image from somewhere else and find out how to recreate that image with the AI, and you can sell that prompt, never mind the image, because of the prompt marketplaces that are coming up. You can sell those prompts. The prompts are becoming valuable. The words, because they're coming from the brain. And then, as I mentioned on Tuesday night, Oliver says, so give him the week. Sorry, Oliver. True in-painting object removal with background replacement. Do you know what that means? That means, let's say you have a scene, somebody photobombs your scene, you want that person out of there. You take the person out, the background is recreated to match the original background. It looks like the person was never there. We're going to have in-painting. Why is that so important? Remember, I told you about the cat with three tails. I wish I saved that image. I have it somewhere. It's really funny. Um, I've seen extra fingers. It does that sometimes. This technology is not perfect, despite the fact that it produces such amazing results. It's still not perfect. And having the ability to take something out is not going to hurt at all. It will help quite a bit. And then I told you you can now replace the backgrounds. You could actually take the background that it creates, you could take the people and isolate it from the backgrounds. It's automatically removed, and you could put any background you want in there. So you could have a background from another generation that you did, or any image that you get from anywhere, and you could put the background in. You have that too. That's also inside the system. I showed you that during the demo. And coming soon, all future updates, which will happen fast, are included because this is technology that's changing at hyper speed. There'll be a time where we don't get three cattails. We're also working on a prompt marketplace where you could sell your idea prompts to others that want to recreate your work. We're also talking to other marketers. One may be here right now, as a matter of fact, about the possibility of having an image marketplace created by AI specifically for the internet marketing niche. So, what do I mean by that? I mean things that internet marketers would want to have at their fingertips when they're making videos and things like that, like man working on computer at desk, et cetera, et cetera. But the limit there is your imagination. All right, we're ready. You guys ready? You ready to jump in? I want to make sure everybody's back. Everybody come back from your drinking and eating and partying and talking to the family. This is it. I'm about to release the link. The first 300 gets it. I bet you we get close, but don't go over it. We purposely crafted it very specifically to be a specific number so that everybody here today should be able to get on. But we have a lot of people on this webinar right now. Okay, you ready? Tell me when you're ready. I want to make sure everyone's ready, or you need another second. Yeah, this is Sunday, Eastern time. It's 8 something, 8:21. See, it wouldn't take too long. All right, get ready. Now, the system may crash when you first head in. Just hang in there with us. I won't do the trivia questions until after you're back. All right, I'm going to show more pictures and things and more of that kind of stuff, but I won't do the important stuff until you're back. Okay, 3. Now, I'll let you count down. You ready? Count down with me. 3 in the chat box. Thank you. Wait a minute. Delphine, I didn't say 2 yet. 2 in the chat box. Thanks for bearing with me. 1 in the chat box. Here's the link, toddgross.net/presents/SV Perch. If you have any problems at all, don't worry. We'll get you in. Just report to us in the question answer box. Okay? It's toddgross.net/presents/SV Perch. It's only $297 per year. That's it for unlimited. And that's why it's the best deal out there. That's why it's untouchable for 300 charter members. And no worries if you do get shut out. Remember, there's a wait list and you'll get in eventually. So don't worry. All right, now I'm going to go over some other things here as you're doing that. For instance, there is an upgrade on the inside that's very small for $19 a month that allows you to get the fastest image generation after your 5 hours are up. you'll be on our faster server 3 times longer. If you'd like that, by all means, grab it, but it's not necessary to use this by any means. There is a bonus. I'm having such a good time that I am going to do with Paul Akonde. Paul's shy, so he may be typing while I'm speaking, but we'll get what he says. We'll get the info to you one way or another. We're going to have a training session. And believe me, I needed Paul this week because at first you're going to say, okay, I'm just going to put in some words and I'm going to get a great image. It doesn't work that way. You really need to know what you're doing a little bit. Paul is going to be on this webinar with me. We're going to go in there. It's going to be a training session. It's not a webinar. It's a training session. We're not going to sell you anything. It's just training. We're going to go in there and we're going to email you about it. All right. And we're going to send an email out. We're going to say, hey, if you want to come to this training session, if you can't make it, we're going to record it. But if you have specific questions on the specific things you're trying to create, we're going to try to help you create them if they're not coming out right. And believe me, it's going to happen to you sooner or later. It's just the nature of the system. toddgross.net/presents/SV Perch.
Delphine, I don't know. Yeah, how can Delphine says, how can you sleep with such an exciting product? I'll tell you, this has been very hectic over the last couple weeks for us, getting this ready and bringing it to you.
August said he was expecting $9.99 price tag.
Wow.
No,
Okay.
we
Well,
have priced this. We have priced this just right. I could go into it and explain to you how careful we had to be on the pricing. If we priced it too low, we wouldn't be able to afford it. If we priced it too high, then it wouldn't have made sense for you. And it would have been something that would be, just like the other ones that are so high.
and it's really important that we do price it correctly for you, because we just saw a situation where a company went bankrupt because they didn't price what they had offered correctly.
Wanted to see a demo of the background removal inside of Synthesys Visual. I have not played with that very much, so you'll have to bear with me. I'll take a look at some of the photos we have in there and see if there's some background removal that should be pretty straightforward. Back to Synthesys Visual, saved images. All right, let's see what happens. So I'm not sure because of the flowers in her hair in this example, if it's going to recognize that as part of her or not, but we could certainly give it a try. So all I did is I just clicked on change background. What's going to do it first is remove the background. Remember, did a good job. Okay, so what we've done is we've taken the background out from behind our subject that we produced with Synthesys Visual. All right, now we can upload a picture in to have her in front of. Like I could put her in Delicate Arch in Moab, in Utah. I could put her in a cafe. I could put her with a new kind of starry background. She could own some Lamborghinis. I like that. Competition for Peter Beattie. Let's leave it that as the background. And then when you click this, change background, it's now going to merge the two together and give us the rendered image. And there it is. Now we could download it. Didn't even make us go to the render area like the face swap did. And there we go. Little girl with Lamborghinis. Very cool. That was a good question, guys. Again, for those of you curious about what this includes, 5 hours per month on our fastest server. It's about 600 images. Then it slows down, it throttles down just a little bit from there, but it's still unlimited. High quality mode is built into the system. Category choices to help style your creation from the get-go. Enhanced face mode, which you just saw me use in Face Swap, but it also works in this automatically by clicking the checkbox. Direct face swap integration. It includes a choice of horizontal, vertical, and square images. but you could upscale them to 4K. Has the upload image option, so you could upload images from anywhere to help craft your idea even more. You saw me use that in the demo. The prompt suggestion wand, it helps create prompts with less scrutiny. Yes, 4K images. Yes, upload feature looks like this. The left I got from Pixabay, the right was the result. Tried to match the cat pretty well. The magic wand helps you create the prompts or what you put in the text. In this case, it was cat in the style of Pablo Picasso, angry and dramatic lighting. It also includes the edit image option, so you could erase and reinvent a portion of your image. The Facebook group membership, help from our in-house expert, the sketch tool that improves your sketches. New features coming, reverse lookup, so that you can actually have a picture made into prompts that will suggest the prompts that made the image you create. True in painting object removal means you'll be able to take out an object and the background will come to the foreground so that it will look like there was never an object there. It's a little different than what we do now where we replace the object. And image background removal is already implemented as you saw me just use. All future updates are included as the system gets better. The prompt marketplace we'll be working on, we'll let you know about that. It's a little bit of a crazy idea, but they're out there and we want to do it for our system so that it's most effective. And possible image marketplace for marketers. We're working with other marketers on that as well. And this is all for $297 per year. I'm going to grab my notes because I'm going to do a question with you. We also have as a bonus a training session where I'm joined by prompt expert Paul Akonde. He's really good at it. And we're going to train you on some of the pitfalls you may run into. All right, we have team members writing me. Made in 5 minutes. We do have an NFT collection example. I'm going to try to copy them and get them to you. That's really great. Oh my goodness. All right, hang in there, folks. I want to make sure to get these to you. Okay, I'm going to show you a potential NFT collection example before we do the trivia question. As silly as this looks, this is what NFT collections generally look like. In this case, they're all related. Okay, we just made these in the system just now. Our team did. And basically, this is sort of like creating a collection of characters that have similar features to each other based on the prompts that she actually put in to create them. So there's sort of like a family look to these. They have a sort of similar look between each one. Now, NFT collections are usually rather large, but they do have some sort of theme behind them. And then they sometimes sell for a lot of money just quizzically out of nowhere. And those of you that are into NFTs, you are a little more aware of how this works. Some of you are skeptical about this, others are, gang ho about it, really interested in doing it this way. So there you go. There's some art that you can work on. Now, for instance, if you want to get a little more serious about it, that one image that Paula Conde produced earlier, and I'll show that to you. It's on my slideshow. This one, that's a sellable image in terms of art. That's sellable. And that could be not necessarily even have to be an NFT. It could be sold as in art marketplaces as well. All right, now, our next trivia question, this is for $25 reimbursement. Okay, $25 reimbursement of your purchase today. And if you don't remember where to purchase, it's in the chat box. And I'm going to throw that link back on the screen. It's toddgross.net/presents/SV Perch. So when we last left off in the system, we had the girl. We replaced the background itself, which was nice. Now let's go back to our saved images. You guys are busy in there. This is our account that we share our All right, who did this one? Fancy high-rise cityscape skyline at night, glowing lights, photorealistic professional tall buildings on the horizon. Whoa, okay, so we have new ones that are popping up, and this isn't you at home. This is our staff playing with it because they can't keep their hands off this thing. Again, the prompt is the text. Fancy high-rise cityscape skyline. That's the subject. At night, glowing lights, still subject and qualifiers. Photorealistic, professional, tall buildings on horizon. Okay. There's jewelry in here. Somebody's dreaming. Pretty fancy, high quality jewelry, professional photo, shiny, glistening, valuable. All right. Which staff member is thinking jewelry? Look at that. You guys, this is too much fun to play with. You guys are playing with it right in front of my eyes. Then we
Hey
have the
Todd.
NFT collection.
Hey
Yes.
Todd, that was me doing it for someone in the question box. They had asked about jewelry.
Okay. That was
Same with
Audrey
the cityscape.
and the city. What was the cityscape?
Someone in the chat box asked.
About that too?
Yeah, earlier tonight.
Wonderful. There it is. Thank you for doing that for them. That's really funny. I mean, it's so funny that I forgot what I was about to demonstrate. I was going into the saved images and I was going to try to show you the cats, but we have to go into the rejects. We're going to go to the history and we're going to look for a reject. Woo, look at these. There's more cityscapes that she didn't save. Look at that. Nice. And more jewelry and more NFTs. Oh my goodness. You should have saved that mouse. Oh, somebody's been busy. Look at the squirrel. Ah, photo cartoon animation squirrel wearing party hat. Where's the hat? See, the hat's missing. I told you it doesn't come out perfect every time. That's why you need unlimited. I'm looking for the cat with three tails, obviously. Here, I think I found it. It's only two tails. It's 3 ears. It's two tails, but 3 ears and 3 legs. The other leg could be hidden, but you can see what's wrong with it. So here, in this case, if Oliver had the in painting going, which he's not getting until Tuesday night, what you would do is you just erase the tail, the extra tail, whichever is the extra, and then the background blue going over to a lighter shade of blue would take its place and it would blend in perfectly behind it. So it's a good thing we didn't ask that question because it would have been wrong. It wasn't three tails, it was two. Oh, look at the cute kitty. You see, it's just addictive. I can't stop. That is crazy stuff. Great job. Only $297 a year. Everyone thought it would be more. toddgross.net/presents/SV Perch. Joel say, how about a list of the visual commands to use? Well, it depends exactly what you want is the thing. We do have a list of how to compile them. First of all, you have help in the software itself. And secondly, we have a actual list of how you could compile them right here. So you pick the category, such as painting, then the main image description, such as woman talking on the phone, and then the image mood, smiling and laughing. The woman is smiling and laughing. The image modifier, that is, well, what's in the background? Is she looking left or right? Image art reference in the style of, in terms of the artist that might be painting this if you're doing art rather than photo. So all that gave this result, but she had a flip phone. Monet was what, like 1860 or something? And we have a woman on a flip phone because we didn't specify what kind of phone. And now phones are basically cell phones. That's pretty funny. I'm dying to call my mother up and have her look at these Monets that we created tonight. I'm like, She's not that great at FaceTime, but I could kind of get it on her iPad, and it'd be like so funny to watch her reaction to these things because I know how much it looks like the photos we had in the paintings we had in our apartment when I was growing up. That's great. Well, thank you, everybody. You asked great questions. You were a lot of fun. You kind of bared with me when I was goofing around a little bit and didn't give me a hard time about it, and I appreciate it. And I am going to be here on listening and popping in every once in a while, but I'm losing my voice, so I'm going to hand it over to Luann, who will continue to answer questions as they come up. And we won't be going anywhere quite yet. There's still a lot of people on.
Yes, Si, and you're welcome. And I do think this is cutting edge AI graphics domination, like you said. Thank you, Rob. Yes, I think Todd did a great presentation on this, and he had some fantastic things to work with from Oliver. And yes, Jason, endless possibilities. Joseph, thank you so much for coming. Yes, Clemmy, I think it is. It's amazing. Good night, Richard. Yes, Derek, I think this is powerful. You're welcome, Jonathan. Lee, you asked, are the modern artists, are there modern artists that the system can accommodate? It can accommodate whatever you put in it. So if you put that the artist name that you want to use in your prompt, it will use that information. So you do not have to just go by the list that's included of the different artists. So the more detailed your prompts are, the better the results will be. Brad, yes, we have found that VPNs will cause a problem with credit cards. So if anybody is using a VPN and they're having difficulties making their purchase, please temporarily disconnect the VPN so that your purchase will go through. Kevin, we will continue to add things to it. We've just what Oliver has and his team have added just in the last couple of days, even hours. It has been really amazing. So we will continue to do a lot of different things, and it's all included with your purchase. So no additional charge. Rodney, on your different email, we had several people that did the exact same thing. They purchased with a different email than their Synthesys account. As soon as we are off of the webinar, I will get those emails taken care of with support so that we get you straightened out as quickly as we can, and we'll get you an email sent out to you as soon as that is merged together. I think half of you are just so busy playing with your new toy that you're still on the webinar, but you're not asking any questions.
Yeah, I'm in there. It's funny because I'm in there playing with it right now myself, too. That's what I was doing. You'd think I'd go, oh man.
You're resting your voice because you're playing with your toy. It's okay, Brad. There's other people here too, so it's okay. You stay on as long as you want. Thank you, Joel. Now just post it in the questions box. If you have a prompt that you would like Todd to create inside Synthesys Visual, he will do that.
I wonder if we could do both. Author Stewart. It's obsolete.
There we go.
Wow. That's
Again, I
crazy.
think the one on the left I like the best.
Yeah. I like the one on the left.
Sorry, Todd.
I was saying it took me a couple of times on this one, but it got some of the details that I was surprised it was able to do. I said, looking at the camera from behind the kitchen island. And that's exactly what we have. We have them
Yeah.
looking at the camera from behind the kitchen island. I'm
Mhm.
surprised I was able to figure out to put the food on the kitchen, on the island. I didn't even mention the food, but it knew the
Yeah.
it knew the context.
And they've got the stove and the cupboards and the refrigerator there. I, that's a
So
lot of detail.
I believe like a true Android, it knew the history there, of the two of them together and applied it,
Yep. Yep.
It's really fascinating. And then we got photobombed with somebody in the middle here.
I see that. And also the person in the blue dress is sitting in front of Martha on the left one. And whoever the
Yeah, I
yeah,
mean here,
yeah.
does that sometimes say we could have removed that if we had his thing that he's coming up with Tuesday night. Tuesday night. I want to see that. The in painting thing.
Save that image so
I
that you
did,
can
yeah. So we could go back
experiment
there
with it. Yep.
to saved images and then look at this. Renaissance painting portrait of beautiful middle-aged king wearing a crown and jewels sitting in a soft light posing. Huh. It's our staff hard at work. Right. So this,
So,
in this case, what I'm suggesting is instead of change background, right, there'll be an option to go in and to take out a piece of the foreground, and then it will put the background back. So Martha would once again have her red outfit over here, and this person would be gone. And that's what we're waiting on Oliver for. So when it produces spurious results like that, you can get rid of the photobomb.
mhm. I think that's fantastic. Seeing these cartoons that we have here reminded me of somebody suggested that greeting cards could be made from all of these. So, and you could do some beautiful landscapes and some happy birthday with balloons. And I mean, there's all kinds of possibilities, and they would all be your individual images created from your imagination, not something that was created by a greeting card company.
Good night, Molly.
Joel gave us 5 tacos. Good night, Joel.
I like that. I had 2 tacos today. All right. Good night, everybody. I think, Luann, I'll play with this. And if you can shut down the webinar.
Jason said he's cool if we want to meet again tomorrow night at the same time. Thank you, Brian. Glad you're in with us. Have a good evening. Thanks, Evans. Thank you, Beverly. I'm glad you got a chance to play with it already.
All right, good. Yeah. Let us know your results. And contact, support if there's a specific problem. But if it has to do with them not looking exactly like you want, we're going to have a training session. Good night, and we will speak to you very soon. Look for that replay coming up tomorrow.
Good night, everyone.